Welcome to our second presentation, where we'll look at proposals for improving holes 4 to 17. On the fourth hole, we feel that the tee shot could be improved by raising the tees and also moving the ladies' tee forward and to the right to create a hole of a similar length to men and make it a par 4 instead of a par 5, given the downhill nature of the tee shot. We'd like to create some more width down the right hand side so golfers can play tighter to the out of bounds to get a better angle into the green, and also to remodel the existing bunkers so that they have more presence from the tee, and the right hand bunker is not quite as penal as it is at the moment, would reduce it a bit in depth. Further down the fairway, we would recommend that the two bunkers which sit short of the green are removed, and that a new one is positioned in the face of the ridge on the left hand side, where it will have more impact on a running ball trying to reach the putting surface. The green we're suggesting is remodeled on a front left to back right diagonal, with a bunker covering the right hand pin positions and a swell guarding the left hand side of the green. The fly through helps to illustrate this well. You can see the impact of widening the fairway to the right, bring the out of bounds more into play. The bunker to the left of the approach, which is moved further back towards the green, and how the new bunker on the green side and the angle of the green will give a much more interesting pin to the right hand side. On the fifth hole, the tee is long and thin and very narrow and would benefit from widening. We propose that it's actually built in two sections because the alignment's not very good following the boundary, and this would mean thinning and removing some trees to the left hand side. To create some drama for the tee shot, we propose that some heather is established on the left hand side of the ridge line. We've also recommended a bunker is installed for the long hitter on the left hand side of the fairway, and that the right hand bunker of the two that exist in the face of the ridge short of the access road is removed. The left one would be kept and remodelled, and a new heathery ridge would be created beyond it and extending to the right, which would help to disguise the road. On the approach to the green, we would like to retain the existing left fairway bunker, but give it more heathland look with some heather on the face. And we'd install two new bunkers on the approach to the green to make the golfer think about whether he tries to reach the green in two or lays up short. The first one would be some 20 yards short on the right hand side of the approach, covering the direct line from the right of the fairway. And the second one would be closer to the green on the bank on the left hand side, which will help to cover some left hand green positions. The green would also be extended a couple of yards in that direction to offer some tighter pin placements. And a new swell created which will help to divert some of the water which runs off the slope to the left, and also provide a chipping hazard. The bunker on the front right of the green would be remodelled in its current location. As you can see from the fly through, the heather adds a nice marker on the left hand side of the fairway on the ridge line. The new bunker works well with the one that's retained and remodelled to add a diagonal feature that narrows the fairway with distance. And you see how the two approach bunkers work nicely to offer a range of angle and challenge depending on the length of the shot. The sixth hole is a short par 4, which is potentially drivable by the long hitter, but it doesn't offer the excitement that a really good short par 4 should. The bunkers down the left hand side merely serve to catch a ball that happens to run off the fairway and gets taken away by the slope. And there's a very nice feature of a quarry to the right hand side which isn't really incorporated as a visual or strategic hazard in the hole. By positioning two bunkers in the centre of the fairway and widening the fairway to the right of them, and towards the quarry, and by lowering the near bank of the quarry so we can create a plateau in this area, we feel we can create a much more interesting hole. There'll be the option of laying up down the left hand side, or even on the right hand side short of the bunkers, or the long hitter can try and risk playing between the bunkers and the quarry to chase the ball down close to the green. We propose that one of the bunkers at the front right of the green is removed, so there is an opportunity maybe to run a ball up onto the green surface by using the shape of the ground. The bunker to the left of the green we've suggested is remodelled as a grass hollow with some heather behind, which will still create a very good feature but without the need to have sand here. The fly-through shows how the two bunkers in the centre of the fairway would work, how the quarry comes more into play with the plateau on the right hand side, and the gap that we're planning to leave between the front bunkers, which the shorter hitter will be able to use as a way into the green if they take the right hand route. The 7th hole is a very confusing hole for visiting golfers. It's very difficult for them to understand what to do from the tee, and the sloping nature of the fairway makes it a very challenging hole for the shorter hitter. We're proposing that a plateau is created to the right hand side, which will allow someone to take an alternative route to the hole without simply running down into the rough in this area, but also to offer a reward for a long hitter that's able to play up the left hand side and take a more direct route to the green by clearing trees, some of which have been removed already, so that you can get a view through from this left hand side of the fairway. We're trying to give people the option to play the hole in a number of different ways, but they have to be accurate to gain the rewards. The bunker on the lower level on the right of the fairway is to be reduced in size because it's completely out of character with the other bunkers on the course. It's got a flat pan American style at the moment. I would like to open up some views to the right of the hole by thinning and removing some trees here and trying to get a bit more of a heathland feel to the hole. Down by the green we feel the bunkers can just be remodelled pretty well in their existing locations. Here on the fly-through you can see the benefit of the changes. The lower plateau on the right hand side of the fairway offering different line, clearing trees so you see a bit more of what lies ahead from the left hand side. The reduced size of the fairway bunker, which is more in character with the other ones, and then the bunkers up by the green side remodelled. The 8th hole is quite a demanding par 3. It plays uphill to a small green, and there's always the risk of landing short and running back down the slope. We'd like to create a little plateau short of the green where a ball will come to rest here to make the target effectively a little bit larger. On the right hand side the trees have been allowed to grow and now the river is invisible, can't be seen from the tees, and it'd be nice to open up that view again. And up by the green we want to also clear some trees to give a view through to the viaduct, which is a really nice feature of the golf course and needs to be seen a bit more. The bunkers we're planning to remodel pretty close to their existing locations, but to fit them better into the ground. And there's a couple of trees which are close to the green that need to be removed. We'd like to get some heather on the back banks as a backdrop for the tee shot and leading up to the tees to disguise the slightly artificial bank that's here at the moment. The fly-through gives an impression of how it would look to have the view opened up to the river, and also how the little plateau short of the green would work in reality to give a bit of a bailout area for someone that can't get up to the green surface. The heather on the back bank will give a much finer backdrop for the tee shot. The par 5 9th hole plays up and over a ridge, which makes it a blind hole, Although we can't get rid of the blindness altogether, I would like to saddle the ridge quite significantly by dishing it around 1.5 meters deep in the center, and that will give some sense of direction to the hole, which is currently lacking. The ladies' tee we proposed is moved forward and onto the ridge line just short of the fairway on the left hand side. It would still be a par 5, and further up towards the green we're proposing that trees are removed on the left hand side of the fairway. The new bunker is formed to the right hand side of the green to stop the ball running down towards the 5th hole, and that the existing bunker on the left hand side is remodeled and reduced in size a bit from the left and the rear, so it sits in better on the bank. And here you can see the effect of saddling the ridge. The ridge line further up where the heather is proposed will be visible from the tee and will create a really nice heathland feel to the hole. The new bunker on the right hand side will help to frame the green together with the remodeled one on the left. The cross bunker on the 10th hole makes it a very penal hole for the shorter hitter and someone that's not able to carry the feature. There's nowhere to play to the side currently, and we propose that the left hand side is filled in and that the right hand side is remodeled as a smaller bunker, so there's somewhere that a golfer can run a ball through if they're accurate. By the green, the existing bunkers would be remodeled, and we recommend that the green is also extended to the back left to offer a good competition pin position. We'd also like the green to roll off a bit more quickly on the right hand side, so that means cutting back the bank closer to the putting surface to achieve that. And this is how it could look. You can see the space that would be provided to the left hand side of the remodeled cross bunker, and how the green extension would fit in nicely and tuck behind the left hand green bunker. We propose quite a radical transformation on the 11th hole. The two bunkers on the right hand side tend to catch a weaker slice shot and don't really challenge a good golfer, so we'd recommend those are removed and that the fairways widen in that direction. A new bunker can then be inserted at about 240 yards on the left hand side of the fairway to narrow it from that side, and then a second one put in about 260 yards from the tee on the right. So it narrows the fairway with distance, but offers the option for the longer hitter of carrying either of the bunkers depending on their length off the tee. By the green, we'd recommend that the right hand approach bunker is removed because it's hidden as it goes over the brow, and replaced by some low mounding instead, and that a new approach bunker is put on the left hand side. And the greenside bunkers would be remodeled where they are, with the right hand one reduced from the rear so that the green can be extended a couple of yards to the back right beyond it. And this shows how it could look, with the widened fairway to the right, the two bunkers which should be visible from the tee with heather on the face, the new approach bunker on the left hand side which helps to guard the front left of the green if you play down the left hand side of the fairway, and then the two bunkers remodeled with the right hand one reduced quite a bit from the rear. The 12th hole has been largely completed in line with our plans, but there is the opportunity perhaps to extend the green to the left hand side in the future to offer new pin position, as you can see in this image. The 13th hole is a long par 4 for men and a par 5 for ladies. It's been spoiled unfortunately by the growth and planting of trees on the left of the fairway, and we feel it would offer a much better range of options if the trees were removed here. The bunker on the apex of the dogleg also needs to be more visible from the tee, and the fairway could then be widened in front of the bunker and beyond it, so the golfers could either play short and have a chance to cut the dogleg with their second shot, or play over it to shorten the hole as a two-shotter. The bunker on the left hand side of the approach should be filled in, since it has no strategic value, and then a new one built short right of the green, where it will make people think about whether they go for the green in two shots or not. We propose that the two bunkers to the left hand side of the green are remodelled in their current locations, and that ideally the track to the right hand side is moved away further from the putting surface, so there's less chance of landing on the road, and that some mounds are formed in place of it to partly disguise the road as it runs away into the distance. You can see in the fly through how much better it is with some trees cleared to the left hand side of the fairway to give more sense of space. The bunker could be made more visible with a higher sand line than shown here. The banks are tall enough. There is an option to have a grass hollow and ridge line rather than the bunker we recommended originally, but that's something for review. You can see how the bunkers can be remodelled nicely on the left hand side of the green. On the 14th hole, we'd like to add some length with a new back tee, back and left of the current alignment, which would mean removing quite a number of trees, but it would allow more heathland to be developed in this area. A new bunker could be sited on a slight ridge that comes into the fairway on the left hand side to really challenge the longer hitter as we get closer to the end of the round. It would require a carry of 270, but obviously it's slightly downhill, so it plays a bit shorter. And some heather could then be developed to the left of that by removing a few trees in this area, but leaving the copse further up the fairway. The penal bunkering with the 3 pot bunkers on the approach would plan to replace and just keep one on the right hand side, so there's somewhere for someone to feed a ball in from the left hand side of the fairway. And then the bunkers on either side of the green would be remodelled in their current locations, with the mouth lowered on the one on the left hand side to gather the ball better, and nearby trees should be removed to help with the walk away from there and reduce the amount of wear that the grass gets in this area. And here you can see how much more dramatic the drive could be, with a new bunker on the left of the fairway and heather on the back banks and extending between this and the 15th hole, and then opening up the approach from the left hand side so that the tighter pins will be on the right of the green. There'll be a bit more space to get into one in the centre and left hand side. We'd like to make the quarry much more of a feature of the hole by extending it to the left, building a new ridge beyond and left of the new hollow, and allowing golfers to walk down and into and through the hollow on the way to the fairway. The tees would also be slightly redeployed, with the left hand tee abandoned and the right hand tee used for yellow play, which means removing some trees that stick out from the side of the quarry on that side, but it would also allow for a new red tee to be built further forward to reduce the carry from the red tee on the right hand side. The fairway bunker on the left of the fairway tends to catch a ball that runs in this direction, which is a bit unfair, so we'd plan to build a new fairway bunker on the right hand side to challenge someone that's trying to take more off the corner of the hole, and widen the fairway out to the left instead. Towards the green, we plan to make more of a feature of the pond on both this and the 16th hole by clearing trees around it, and then to the left of the approach to cut back the trees and get some heather on the bank there instead. The green sides, the fronts of the green is a bit too steep, and that should be reduced in steepness with a lower tier. And the bunker to the left hand side of the green we're proposing is replaced by mounds, while on the right hand side the bunker can be remodelled close to its current location, just filled in a bit from the back. The fly through doesn't really do justice to the quarry, because it would keep the steepness of the banks on the right hand side. You can see here how the new bunker would come into play, how the pond could be made more of a feature of the hole, and then on the green side the bunker remodelled and the other one removed. We would want to put a bit more mounding on the left hand side. It's not really come through on the fly through, but at least you get an impression. Our plans for the 16th hole have largely been implemented, certainly around the green, but we'd like to see some more trees removed around the pond to make it more of a feature of the hole, and also some heather established in the carry. The fly through gives an impression of how this could further improve the hole. The proposals for the 17th hole mainly revolve around some tree thinning and removal and some heather establishment down the left hand side of the fairway. We didn't really feel there was any need for fairway bunkering here. There's a couple of trees up closer to the green on the right hand side of the fairway that we've suggested should be removed, and then the bunkers would be largely remodelled in their existing locations. The fly through shows how heather could really add to the frame of the hole on the left hand side of the fairway and help to turn the dogleg. And down by the green, how removing a couple of trees makes the bunkers much more of a feature of the hole. It's a very tight and narrow green, but that's part of its character and charm. And so that concludes our presentation. I hope you enjoyed listening to it, and I look forward to working with the club in the future on further improvements to the golf course.